Welcome back to the Golden Ticket Pod with your host, Molly Tasker. This is the podcast where self-awareness stops being something that you understand and it becomes where you step into your embodied leader in and out of business. The place where you stop holding yourself back as a businesswoman, stop blending in with the crowd and start leading with authenticity of who you are down to the core. It's time to lead differently or not lead at all. Welcome back to the Golden Ticket Pod. This is episode 3 and this episode is all around leading differently or not at all. I might have to put my sunglasses on. Thought I'd do it from the garden today because it's nice and sunny and I thought why not, this is my next level me. She works from the garden on the sunny days. I'm making the most of it at the moment while it's here because it's going to be raining again tomorrow. So I thought I'll record my episode from the garden. And this is literally what I mean by leading differently or not at all. You will see all of these podcasts and all content on Instagram looking so perfectly polished and they're in the studios and they're doing all these different things. And yes, that is great. Yes, it is good to have that professional branding if that's what you want. But also this is me telling you that you do not have to lead the same as everyone else. All 3 episodes now have been of me in different positions, in different areas of the house. I've been in my room, I've been in the kitchen, I've been outside now. And it's just really showing that you don't have to do things the same as everyone else. Why can I not sit out here and record my podcast episode on a nice sunny day and just talk to you guys how I would with a friend? And that's how I want this to be. That's how I want my content to be, that it's not all professional and polished. Yes, what I do within my work is fucking amazing and I will not deny that. And I will be professional when I need to be professional. Also, I build such good relationships with my clients that it doesn't have to rely on professionalism like it would in a 9-to-5 job. And with me, being friendly with my clients, it helps so much because I actually get to know them on a deeper level and it helps me to actually support them on that deeper level even more. And that is literally what I do in my business. It's helping people lead differently or not at all. It's helping people to step into themselves and feel comfortable and confident being themselves no matter what. And I feel in this industry, this is such a taboo topic. It is starting to get spoken about more, but there needs to be so much more about it. And it is literally the uncomfortable truth about leadership, okay? Most people aren't actually leading their business. They're just copying everyone else around them. And if you're feeling triggered or called out right now, you need to listen to this episode because it's time that you stop copying everyone else and you stop letting your fears and your limiting beliefs win and run the show, and you start to actually step into yourself as a woman, figure out who the fuck you are and really use that to your advantage. Okay, and this means no more replicating what other coaches are doing, no more following trends instead of leading. We don't want to follow trends, we want to create them. You don't want to blend in because it feels safer. You want to stand out because that is when people recognize you. That is when people will see you as a leader. And it's not just about standing out and doing crazy stuff. Standing out in your industry, standing out in what you want to be known for, and allowing people to see the version of you within your business, not just doing crazy shit all of the time, and doing trends and starting trends that don't actually relate to your business. It's all about relating it back to your business. And an example of this is from mine, where I have recently done a dating profile post. And this is something that I don't think has ever been done before from what I've seen, especially in the way that I've done it. So the first slide said, "It's official, I'm ready to start dating again." And then when you swipe, it's no, just joking. The only people I'm wanting to date is future clients. And then I've done my dating profile so people who get to know me better, because my brand is all around being authentically you, being unique and standing in your power with that. So I was what is the best way I can showcase this? I'm freshly single. I've been single for 3 months. This will get people to stop because they'll be geez, this girl's just come out of a 5.5-year relationship and she's posted on her business profile that she wants to start dating. And obviously that wasn't the intention of the post at all, but it got such good engagement, it got inquiries, it got sales through the fucking door. And that's because I was leading differently. I wasn't copying what everyone else was doing. I wasn't doing the same content as everyone else, wasn't doing the same trends as everyone else. I thought of my own idea and I made it my own and I run with it. And this is what I mean when I say things if your content, if your messaging, and if your offers look the same as everyone else's, you are not leading in your business, okay? And you need to start leading differently if you want to stand out in this industry, because there is a lot of people in this industry now. Like, so many people come into this industry and they don't actually know what they're doing. But if you want to stand out, you need to show that you are different from everyone else. And by doing that is by stepping into your unique power, stepping into who you are as a person. And this doesn't just mean sharing what you like to eat, the drinks that you like to drink, or what you like to watch on TV. Yes, that is part of your personal brand, and yes, that is a part of you as a person. But you need to go that layer deeper, and that is exactly where I come in with my business and with Human Design. We go that layer deeper so you can actually understand yourself on that deeper level, whether that's how you interact with the world, how you work best, how you make decisions, your greatest gifts, and using them within your business, but your environment, so making sure that you're working from the right places. That also really helps with your offers as well. So I've been looking into my environment a lot recently, and it's helped spark new offer ideas, such as VIP days in the spa, and it's helping me restructure my one-to-one by actually listening to how I work best and zoning in on that, and that I don't have to do my one-to-one packages the same as everyone else in this industry. It doesn't have to be a weekly or bi-weekly call with full-time Telegram. That doesn't have to be what one-to-one looks like, because what I've noticed is with myself and with my clients, the transformations come better with the intensity. So when I'm in Telegram with my clients, or when I'm on a call with them for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it might be, back and forth non-stop, no like switch in between, that is when the real transformations happen. If I was to have Telegram with a client 24/7, they can come in, dip in and out whenever they want. Yes, my clients can always message me whenever they want to, but the transformations take longer to happen because we need that intensity. I am here to give you those light bulb moments, those in the moments, fuck, this makes sense. And that is what I'm here for. That is what I'm known for. So I was like, it makes so much more sense to restructure the way my one-to-one is, so it actually makes sense and it actually helps my clients get better transformations. It helps me with how I'm working, because I'm working in a more productive way and I'm working in a way that actually suits me better. So I've restructured it, and they still get full access to me, but they just get it more intense, which is so much better for me and my business and my brand. And the thing is, I think a lot of people really struggle to lead differently, because it's not about you don't have the leadership qualities, it's the fear, it's the limiting beliefs, it's the things that are holding you back, it's the people around you. It could be your environment that you're in. There are so many different things. It could be the fear of being judged. It could be the fear of being misunderstood. It could be the fear of being different and standing out, because people are going to see you and maybe you don't feel ready for people to see you on that level. It could be losing followers on your Instagram. It could be losing friends. It could be losing family. It could be losing relationships and partners. It could even just be the fact that you're waiting and wanting validation before you start speaking and telling your truth. But the thing is, leadership requires you to speak before people agree with you. It requires you to actually step into that version of you that you truly want to be, and the version of you that you truly want to show, without the validation from people, because everyone in this world has opinions. Everyone in this world has different opinions, and they might not agree with you. Some people will agree with you, and it's about finding your people. And if you're speaking to everyone, you are speaking to no one, because you're blending in too much, and people will not invest in you. People will not see your true value, because this is where I was at once. I was speaking to absolutely everyone, and I was not making sales. I was not getting inquiries, because I was actually speaking to no one, because I was staying too broad. I was staying too safe, and I was playing it really small and really safe. And as soon as I started to narrow it down, and by narrowing it down and niching it down, I don't mean in the sense of it has to be a 24-year-old from London who works this job or has this business. Like, that's not what it is for me. Like, my ideal client is very big, it's very broad, but it's very specific in terms of who they are as a person, their values, what they believe in, their goals, what they're driven by, and all things like that. And as soon as I started to speak to one person rather than speaking to everyone, everything changed in my business. Like, I've got daily inquiries, I've got people speaking to me every single day, like people telling me how different I'm showing up in the best way. And there are people, I've had lots of people unfollow me. But do you think that bothers me? Not one bit, because it just means I'm getting rid of the people who are not aligned for me and my business. I've had a whole year of shedding. Obviously, if you listen to the last episode, you'll know about the breakup story. And I had a whole year of shedding. Like, I literally let go of 5.5 years of my life. I let go of everything around me, my job that I had, the people that I loved, where I lived. Like, I let go of my relationship, which was the best thing that I've ever done. But because I had let go of my relationship, I then had to let go of everything else. And that was a big, scary move for me. But also, like, my point here is that sometimes people and places will hold you back. And whilst I met the most amazing people when I was in that relationship, whilst I made the most amazing friendships and connections with people, that relationship itself was holding me back a lot, and I needed to release that to get to where I am right now. If I was still in that relationship, if I didn't stand in my power on that Monday and set it straight, I would still be feeling miserable as fuck, probably crying all the time and not happy in the slightest, even though I had a bunch of people around me who did light my day up, and I had a job that I did enjoy going to, but also I was ready to leave that job. I just didn't get to leave it on my terms. So that's the thing. You sometimes do need to let go of things that are holding you back, even if it is really scary, even if it is you jumping into the deep end, not knowing what's going to happen. There's a real excitement when you don't know what's going to happen with your life and with yourself, because all of these possibilities and opportunities open up. I could have come into this thinking the worst. I could have come into this thinking I was going to go on a downward spiral, never be the same again, and all of the things. But instead, it was the opposite, because I come into it and I was like, no, I'm using this. Like, I've stepped into my power. I'm not letting it go now. I'm going to carry on. And I was using that to my advantage. And I found myself so quickly. Like, I started laughing again. I started cracking jokes again. Like, I was being myself all of the time, laughing every single day, smiling every single day, making new friends, reconnecting with old friends, like reconnecting with family. And it just felt so amazing. And it was the best thing that I could have done. And I still haven't let that situation stop me from seeing the people that I love back down there. I go back down to London at least once a month to see everyone and to just be in a place where I feel like home. So yeah, this is where it comes down to, you have to let things go. You have to release if you want to start leading differently. And I'm not telling you to go and break up with your boyfriends of 5.5 years, 10 years, whatever it might be, because they might not be the thing that's holding you back. But for me, that was a very big part of what was holding me back. And it was a very big part of what was keeping me stuck in my limiting beliefs, stuck in thinking that I was never going to be good enough. And I remember saying this at the breakup. I was like, I constantly just feel like I'm not good enough for you. And that was like feeding into my business. That was feeding into life in general. And it was fucking awful. I think the only place where I didn't feel like I wasn't good enough was my job. I worked in a nursery 2-3 days a week, and honestly, that was one place where I knew I was fucking amazing at what I did, and I knew I was amazing at what I did in business, but the limiting beliefs were holding me back a lot because it was very close to home. There was a lot of things that I wanted to talk about that I didn't feel like I could talk about, and I felt like I couldn't show up as me, truthfully, because of the limiting beliefs that were holding me back, thinking that I wasn't good enough and thinking that I'd get judged and things like that. But working in the nursery, that was actually probably my first place of leadership that I've ever really had. When I first went into working in nurseries, my goal, my ambition, my dream was to work my way up. I wanted to be a room leader, I wanted to be a manager one day, I wanted to open up my own nursery. I had done my degree so I could be a play therapist in the future. And while I would still love to do something like that, because I'm so big on helping people mentally and all of the things, and like obviously I love working with children, so that is a very big thing for me. In my last job at the nursery, like, I was a wellbeing ambassador, so I was a wellbeing person not just for the children but for the staff as well, and I felt in true alignment there at that time. As much as I wanted to spend more time on my business, like, it felt so good being recognised for things that I was actually truly good at and being able to merge the two together. But before I hit that stage, I was working my way up as that leadership, and one year I helped out one of the girls wanted to go travelling, and she asked me if I would lead her room for 2 months, and I said yes. I was still doing my degree at the time. I was working 40 hours a week. I was doing my business and I was doing my degree full time as well. Don't know how I managed it, but I did manage it. And I was doing the room leader then, and I was like, I'd only been there a couple of years, if that. maybe a year or two, I don't know. But I was like, okay, this just shows to me that I'm good enough. I'm being recognised. Like, I have those leadership qualities, which I know I've always had. I know what I'm doing. And then it was frustrating that I couldn't bring that to my business. But it was because of all the things that were holding me back. And I also realised in those moments that as much as I loved doing that job, as much as it was really rewarding and I was appreciated and all of the things, I realised that without realising at the time, looking back, it didn't feel right. And I knew that, and that's why I've always said since then, I was like, I don't want to be a room leader. I don't want to work my way up. That's not the path for me. And looking back, I can say it's because I wasn't leading differently. I was leading the same as everyone else. I was following the crowd of, okay, this is what you do. You start off as a practitioner, then you go up to room leader, then you go up to management, then you go up to higher up, whatever it might be. And it was the same as everyone else. I was following the same path. And I was always born to not follow the same path. I was born to be a trailblazer. I was born to be different. And then a couple of years later, yeah, I'd say probably 2 years later, I then was recognised for my business. So my manager at the time knew I had a business. Like, I was speaking to her about it and all of the things, and she wanted me to bring it into the nursery. So I was like, amazing, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And that just shows on showing up and doing what you do. Like, do it regardless of if you've got a job or what, because like my manager actually recognized that in me, and she was really passionate about mindset and well-being and things like that as well. So I become the well-being ambassador. I was the person that staff could come and talk to. Like, we would sit and have coffee chats, we would go for walks, like, and I was just that person in general that people could come to. Like, I'd bring suggestions. I started doing things like employee of the month and all things like that, and it was really amazing. And then I was also like the well-being for the children as well, so I would do things like yoga with them. I'd do things like deep breathing. Like, I would help other staff learn how to do things like that, and I felt like I was in my element. I was bringing two things that I loved together, and it was amazing. And that's when I really started to lead differently. Yes, I wasn't in a higher position in the nursery. Yes, I wasn't in those different places, but I was leading differently, and I was recognised for that, and I was appreciated for that within my setting. I wanted to start and bring that to business as well, which I did start to do, especially when I went into the human design aspect of things, and I started to do the theme park, and that's when everything started shifting for me. So I was looking back into my human design again, and I was like, do you know what would be really cool? I was on a call with my coach at the time, and I was like, how cool would it be if my brand was a theme park? We was like, oh my god, like in that moment everything clicked. Okay, we was literally like, it has to be done. And I sat on it for a good while. I did sit on it for a while. I focused on the human design stuff. I looked into astrology a little bit as well, but then I was like, no, I just want to go on human design. And I changed my branding of becoming her to becoming you, because I was like, why am I teaching other people to become her? That's giving the message that they're becoming someone else, when actually I want to help them become themselves. I want to help them find themselves and step into them. So we changed it to becoming you. And it felt so aligned. It felt amazing. And then I started doing the human design, started talking about that a little bit more. But I didn't talk about it properly. I didn't talk about it in depth. And everything was aligned. Everything felt right. But there was something that was just missing. There was something that just felt a little bit off. And that was because I wasn't being a true embodiment. And I wasn't truly leading differently to everyone else. I was still saying the same phrases. I was still saying the same things as everyone else in the industry, everyone else that does identity work and mindset work. I was still saying all the same shit as everyone else. And I couldn't quite get my head around how to twist that. And as soon as I left that relationship, as soon as I left the things that were holding me back and stopping me from really being in my power and really stepping into me, my content shift instantly. Started leading differently. I started being myself. I started showing myself and my personality more on my stories and on my grid. Like, I started showing up on TikTok. Like, I'm now doing a challenge where it's like, make my old yearly salary in 90 days. And it's all because I decided to lead differently in that moment when I was still in that relationship. All of the work that I was putting in to re-find myself those 6 months before I left him, I started the gym again. I started going out for walks again. I started seeing friends again. Like, I started just doing things for me and asking myself, what do I want to do? as well as obviously trying to work on the relationship. But all of the work that I was putting in those 6 months led to that moment of me standing in my power, pretty much ending the relationship. Then I was able to actually fully stand in my power, fully stand in my authenticity as soon as I was out with it, because there was nothing holding me back anymore. But honestly, this is my mission. This has always been my mission, but it's never been like how it is now, because now, like, I'm a true fucking embodiment of what I teach. Whereas before, I was still going through all the transformations, I was still going through the lessons. I didn't actually finish that cycle that I needed to finish to help people with it properly. I was still great at what I was doing. I was still helping people get transformations, but there was something that was just a little bit off still. And obviously now, being on the other end of it, finishing that cycle and really doing that, I can actually help people the way that I'm meant to help people. And there are still things that I'm going to go through. There are still next levels that I'm going to reach and achieve that I will still help people with. But honestly, human design is a fucking game changer. Whenever I do a reading on people, whenever I have power hours with people, have alignment drops with people, they literally at the end of it are like, what the fuck? Like, one, how did you know all that about me? And two, like, it makes so much sense. Like, I feel like I actually know what I need to be doing to move forward now. And this is what I mean when it's like, your strategy should not be the same as everyone else's. Don't get me wrong, like, I work with a business coach, I work with a strategy coach in like content marketing and stuff like that, which is fucking amazing, and they're so good at what they do. But also, the reason why I work with them specifically is because they also encourage you to not be the same as everyone else. When I come to them with my idea of the dating post, they was like, oh my god, this is fucking genius, I cannot wait to see it. And they backed me on it. They didn't tell me that, oh, it's too big, it's too ballsy, it's too bold. They was like, fucking go for it, like, do it right now. That's because they're not encouraging me to have the same strategy as them. They're not telling me to do things the same way as them, to run my business the same way. They are supporting me like how I support my clients in running your business your own specific way. And a big part of that for me and how I help my clients is through human design. So it's actually understanding your human design, it's understanding who you are as a person. And I think a lot of people look at human design as a blueprint and as something you need to follow, and it really isn't that, because different things will come up at different times for you. You will have different downloads at different moments. Yes, the information stays the same, but the downloads will be different at different times in your life. And it's so fucking interesting. Like, I feel like it really gives you that validation that it's okay to be different to everyone else. It's okay that you work differently. Some business coaches tell you to only work 9 to 5 hours, switch your phone off after 5 o'clock, get a business phone, switch it off, go for a walk, and then pour into you. Yes, that's great. It's good to have boundaries. It's good to have routines. But it's also important to remember that everyone's boundaries are different. Okay? For me, I don't typically start work until 11, 12 o'clock. And sometimes I'll be working in the evening. Sometimes I'll be working at 9, 10 at night. And that's okay because that's what I want to do. But I don't force myself to do it. And I don't guilt myself anymore when I choose not to work, when I choose to take time off. Because that's the life that I built. That's the freedom that I have built. And it's so powerful in knowing that when I listen to myself and listen to my body and listen to my design and actually step into doing what I'm meant to be doing, everything shifts and everything feels aligned. And it's okay if I work late. Like, who the fuck cares? I'm still pouring into me. I'm still putting myself first. So what is the fucking problem? And this is where, like, I'm so passionate about business in the sense of run it how you want to run it, work it how you want to work it. You still need to put work in if you want a successful business. You're not just going to get a successful business out of nowhere, out of thin air. Like, it doesn't work like that. But you get to choose how you work best. You get to choose how you're most productive. You get to choose where to work from. You get to choose all of these things. And your human design just helps to unravel the truth about what actually works for you. And sometimes it is a trial and error. Sometimes you might try something and be like, oh, that's not for me. But that's okay because maybe there's another hidden meaning in it. And it's even in the sense of like how you talk to people, how you interact with people, and everything like that. And it's so powerful in knowing all of this stuff. But also, I can respect that human design looks confusing as fuck. If you've never heard of human design before, if you don't know what it is, you'll look at it and you'll be like, what the actual fuck of all of these words? Like, what do they mean? that's where I come in, because I really want to simplify it for people. I feel like a lot of human design pages, they just focus on the energy types, and like they focus on people that already know what it is. And whilst, yes, like, a lot of my clients do already know their human design, I want to make it really easy for people to understand if they don't get human design. Because there's a lot of big terminology in there that you don't need to know about. All you need to know is the meanings behind it. And I make it so simple for you that you don't need to know what profile you are. You don't need to know what authority you are. You just need to know the meaning behind everything. It is so much more than just an energy type. It's so much more than just your generator, manifestor, whatever it might be. There is so much more to it, because I could be a generator, you could be a generator, Bob down the road could be a generator, but we're all fucking different people. And when you look past the generator side of things, when you look past just the energy sign, it is so interesting, because then that is where your uniqueness comes out to play. And honestly, like, it's the most powerful thing. If I didn't start looking into my human design again, like, I would not be where I am right now. And it's so fucking powerful. And it's why I'm just so passionate about helping other people through it as well, and helping other people actually understand themselves on that deeper level. And I don't just sit there and tell people this is what you are in human design and list off all of the things. I get to know my client. I understand where they're at right now, the struggles that they're going through, where they want to be, their passions, their drive, their ambition, all of the things. I get to know them as a person. Then I can actually help them on that deeper level. And I'm very good at reading people. I'm very good at picking up on energies and actually helping people through that transformation. So that's what I do. There is no point sitting there with a stranger that I don't know, telling them, this is your human design, this is what it means. Because they'll sit there at the end of it and be like, okay, cool, so what now? You need to actually get to know your client. And that is where I'm making things different in this industry. That's where I'm leading differently, because I'm looking into my clients specifically. I'm actually taking time to get to know them, which a lot of people in the human design world don't really do. And they just focus on giving everyone the terminology, not actually explaining things to them on a level that they will understand. If I was to tell you you've got a 1/3 profile, you'll be like, what the fuck does that mean? Whereas if I was to actually tell you what it means without telling you you've got 1/3 profile, you will be like, oh, that's so me. Like, how do you know that about me? And I'll be like, well, actually, it's in a human design. And it's so powerful, and it's so amazing to actually work through and uncover with my clients, like, because I just love hearing them at the end of the calls or sending voice notes or messages where they're like, it all makes sense, everything is clicking, I now know what I need to do to move forward. It's like the best feeling ever. But here's the thing, okay? Influence and leadership are different things. Influence will get you attention. Influence is things like copying trends. It's creating content for the algorithm. It's doing things the same way everyone else does. It's saying what people want to hear. The influence gets you attention. Sometimes people want influence. Sometimes that's the goal for some people. But if you want to be a leader, if you want to stand out in your business, if you want people to come to you, then you need to step into leadership, embodied leadership, because this is where the change is created. It's where you share your perspective. It's where you say things that others won't. It's where you say the mic drop moments. It's where you're different. It's where you're challenging the norms. You're challenging society. You're challenging the norms. You're challenging strategies. You're challenging the way that this industry is. That is where people will see you. That is where people will see that you stand out, and they will want to work with you, because they can see that you mean fucking business. Like, you're not just here to work the same as everyone else. You're not just here to copy everyone else. You are here because you truly love to do what you do. And it's all well and good knowing yourself, being aware of yourself, being aware of things you like and dislike, and all of the things. But if you are not embodying that in your business, then you are not leading. There is a difference of knowing who you are and expressing who you are. And you can express who you are in your business without sharing every single minute and every single detail of your life. That is okay. I don't share everything about my life, and that's okay. But I still embody the business owner that I want to be, and that's not just someone who sits looking all professional with a laptop in her hands. It's someone that is different. That's why I've got the theme park, because it's different. It's never been done before. It's making me stand out. It's showing people that you can be different. It's showing people that you can jump on a ride of your choice. You can jump on your own ride of life and you can fucking love it. Okay? It's showing people that you do not have to be the same as everyone else and you can still show your personality without sharing every single detail of your life. So leading differently really does look like sharing unpopular opinions, sharing those beliefs, sharing those opinions, sharing those thoughts that will get people to stop and think, that will get people to actually be like, oh fuck, like, okay, like that's triggered me a bit. Sometimes people get triggered and they'll fuck off, but they might come back 6 months later, they might come back a week later. Sometimes people can't deal with the trigger, but then they're not your ideal client. It's about triggering people in a good way, triggering people in a way that gets them to want to work on it, that gets them to want to change and gets them to want to step into this version of themselves and to actually make the changes and make the shifts that are going to move them forward in their life and their business. Leading differently looks like talking about things that other people avoid. It looks like showing your personality, showing who you are, and showing your funny side, showing your side where you crack jokes, like all of the things like that. It's about simplifying complicated topics. If you're in an industry where it might be a bit complicated, like it's simplifying things like that, like what I'm doing with my human design. And it's about creating offers that break industry norms. I've changed my one-to-one offer, so it's not working the same as everyone else and how you would expect normal one-to-one to work, but it works so much better. My clients get so many more transformations, so many more shifts because of this. So leadership isn't about being louder. It's not about making content that everyone wants to see and everyone wants to hear and everyone wants to repost. It's about making content that hits for your specific people. Leadership is about being clearer. And the moment that I stopped trying to fit in with the industry and fit in with everyone else and do things the same as everyone else and say the same things as everyone else was the moment that I actually started leading in my business. The moment that I started showing myself for me and not just showing my to-do list that people don't actually give a fucking shit about. When I started actually showing me and my personality and I stopped fitting in, that's when I started leading. That's when I become embodied. So if you are going to build a business, if you're aiming to like want to make this business full time, you want to earn however much you want to earn, you want to like get your freedom, you want to be able to travel the world, like whatever it might be, you need to lead differently. And this is my new saying, is lead differently or not at all. The world doesn't need more people copying each other. It needs people who are different, who stand out, who know their shit, who know what they want, and they fucking go for it. And they don't care about losing people or losing followers or things like that in the process because they know that they're just unaligned to them. It's not about speaking to everyone. It's about speaking to one person, and that will hit so much more. You will speak to so many more people by just speaking to one person. And honestly, like, if you are not willing to lead your own specific way, you will spend your whole career blending in and you will not hit those goals internally and externally that you want to hit. You might already see success, but if you're seeing success and you're listening to this and it's triggering you, I can also bet that you're not feeling the success. And that's because you need to do this internal work to actually be able to lead differently and get your right people. So this is just your reminder that leadership isn't about having the loudest voice in the room. It's about having the courage to use your own. And I would really like to know in the DMs or wherever you want to like let me know in the comments, whatever it might be, how you're going to start leading differently. What's one thing you're going to do that is different to everyone else in your industry? Because this is going to be the thing that sets you apart and actually gets you to where you desire to be in and out of business. So lead differently or not at all.